Hey guys, give me a second while I go live on Instagram. Got you guys some royalty-free music. Royalty-free music. I'm just kidding. All right. Yes, we are on. Hey. Good, happy Monday, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to, we're going back to call this NPL Legal Dish, the previous time, or who's getting sued this week, whatever you want to call it. This is where we come to learn our business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. Okay, and I'm your host, Natalie Pierre-Lewis. Now, a quick recap of last week. Some of the things that we talked about real quick. We talked about LeBron James being sued for copyright infringement alongside Netflix for a movie they did together called Resball. We talked about the John Wick franchise. We talked about the people who own the intellectual property for that. They are currently suing a company that sells, gun accessories, bags, and things geared towards women, and they're calling themselves Jane Wick. And we also talked about Saquon Barkley essentially trying to trademark his silhouette just like Michael Jordan did for his jump thing. And then the last thing we talked about was edible arrangements. They are now selling CBD infused products, and you can get those at edible.com. Okay, so those were only like half of the stories that we covered last week. So if you if you missed any of that, please make sure that you go to last week's show and give the stories a watch. I divided them all up so you can pick the ones that you want to watch. All right, so let's get into this week's stories. I see you guys over there watching on StreamYard. Put your names in the comment box so I can say hi to you. All right. Okay, our first story of this evening is, let me bring this up for you guys. Okay, so we talk a lot about intellectual property on here, right? And intellectual property, meaning copyrights and trademarks and things like that. These things, they can bring you wealth if you are lucky, right? So it won't, especially in the music business. So when you are a person who has longevity in the music business, people are going to want to use your music for different things, right? This is the case with this group right here called Twisted Sister. Even if you don't necessarily know their name or recognize the group, you probably recognize one of their very famous songs, which is We're Not Gonna Take It. What's it? We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Okay, so that's one of their biggest hits, right? These guys were big in like the 70s and 80s. And now we're in 2025. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the watch. Please put your name in the comment box so I can say hi to you directly. But yeah, so Twisted Sister, they they're getting older. They're not, I don't think they're touring anymore. But they still owned, or up until recently, they owned still the copyrights and distribution rights to all of their music, right? But because they are older and they're like, look, we're not touring, we're not going to be around for much longer. They have sold their intellectual property, meaning their copyrights and trademarks, to Warner Music Group. Okay. Not only are they older, their kids their kids don't want to manage the copyrights for all of the music that Twisted Sister has done. The kids are like, yeah, whatever. My parents were rock stars. I don't want anything to do with that. Just run me the Monets. Okay. So they have sold the rights to their catalogs. The amount is undisclosed, but think about the last few years. Think about all of the artists who have been selling their catalogs and how much they've been getting, right? I think I want to say, was it Bruce Springsteen got like 50 million? A lot of people have been selling their catalogs, and they've gotten a lot of money. The one that comes to mind the most is Lil Wayne, because I think he sold his catalog for $100 million. But you know, for some of these artists, selling the rights to that music works for them because maybe they just want that cash. You know, maybe they don't want to have to worry about, you know, who's using the copyright here and there. I don't want to have to keep attorneys on retainer to make sure people aren't using my work against my permission. So they just sell it, they get a cash out, and you know, they go their separate ways. So what do you think about that? Do you think that Twisted Sister did the right thing, or should they have kept those copyrights? Should they have kept that in the family? Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. Okay, let me close this out. Help. Okay. But yeah, so when you are an artist, your intellectual property is how you're going to get paid in your later years, because you're going to want, people are going to want to use your stuff, especially if you're popular. They're going to want to use it, and they're going to have to pay for that, right? But you can sell that right to someone else for a big amount, so that they can take care of that for you, and you don't have to worry about it. You just get the cash. Now, here we are in our next story. Does anybody recognize this group? If you recognize this group, write the name in the comments for me. But for those who may not know who it is, this is a picture of the Pussycat Dolls. They were pretty popular. I want to say what, maybe 10 years ago. They got that song. They had that song with Snoop Dogg. I'm no loosen up my butt and say, what did I do with me? Okay. Obviously I don't remember the words, but if you remember the Pussycat Dolls, they started off as a burlesque group in Vegas, and it just took off. And we, you know, there were rotating members of the Pussycat Dolls, but a certain group of them, you know, kind of shot to stardom, and they had a good run, right? So if you remember the Pussycat Dolls, give me a cat emoji in the comments, right? Now, of course, like any other artists, the Pussycat Dolls, their popularity, it came, you know, it crescendoed, and then, you know, it kind of waned, right? But there is still money in reunion tours, and that is exactly what the founder of the Pussycat Dolls, whose name is Robin Antin, that's what she's trying to do. So the Pussycat Dolls were set to go do a reunion tour in Vegas. So Robin Antin, she called all the girls and she's like, hey guys, we're going to do this reunion tour. Come on back. And then, of course, if you were a fan of the Pussycat Dolls, you know that the lead singer, or I use the term singer very loosely, the lead vocalist was a lovely lady. She's very beautiful, by the name of Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole Scherzinger was the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls, no doubt. She sang all the leads. I remember there's a famous clip of one of the Pussycat Dolls trying to get her moment while, you know, they were performing. But whenever there was a performance, you knew that Miss Scherzinger was going to be front and center. And because of that, you know, when the group kind of broke off, Nicole, she tried to start, you know, a solo career. It didn't go very far. I think she had one single that did pretty well. And then ever since then, she's been a host of several competition shows, you know, for dancing and singing and things like that, right? Anyway, but I digress. So Robin Antin calls all the Pussycat Girls, says, hey y'all, we doing a reunion tour. Come on, let's do this. Nicole Scherzinger says, I'm only coming if I'm the creative director and I get 75% of the profits. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 members of the Pussycat Dolls, not including the founder, Robin Antin, who's coordinating on all this. And Nicole Scherzinger, to her credit, who was the lead vocalist of the Pussycat Dolls, she says, I want to, be the creative director for the reunion tour, and I want 75% of the profits. So Robin Antin was like, girl, what are you smoking? And she actually sued her for her refusal to perform. This was happening in 2021, I think, because they had a contract. They had a contract stipulating this. I don't know if Nicole came up with these terms after the contract or whatever. Either way, Nicole was like, I ain't showing up unless y'all breaking me off 75% of the chickens. Okay. So they have been back and forth in court for the last 4 years now, still negotiating this settlement. Now, I haven't heard anything about a Pussycat Dolls tour happening. I don't know if it's happened yet or if it's going to happen. But do you think that Nicole Scherzinger, as the lead vocalist of the group, does she deserve 75% of the profits from this reunion tour, plus the ability to be the creative director? Yes, no doubt, you were the lead vocalist for the group, but it was still a group. So how can you demand 75% of and you didn't even found the group. The founder of the group is Robin Antin. So you want more money than the person who started the whole thing? It doesn't make any sense. But they are still negotiating. We will wait to see what happens. But I would like to know from you guys, do you think that Nicole Scherzinger deserves 75% of the profits? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay. All right. And the reason why we bring that up is because sorry, I my brain just went blank for a second. Again, you have to think about your contracts. We don't know if this contract was signed before or after Nicole Scherzinger was demanding the 75%. But if they signed this contract prior to this, Nicole Scherzinger is trying to materially change the terms of the contract, and you can't do that. She was basically trying to go back and say, well, I want to change this, 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 and this, when we've already agreed to this. No, so then, and if I'm thinking, here's what happened. They signed the contract. Nicole said, I want this, this, and this. They said, girl, you tripping. She's like, I'm not coming. So they sued her for breach of contract. Guaranteed that's what happened. Okay. All right. Next thing we are talking about. Now, I'm going to sing a song that is going to age me. Okay. It is going to age me. But if you know this song, you old too. Okay. Walks like a shoe, feels like a sneaker. Walks like a shoe, feels like a sneaker. If you recognize that jingle, please give me a shoe emoji or some acknowledgement that you recognize that jingle. So I remember hearing that song when I was growing up, and it was a commercial for Easy Spirit. They were promoting these pumps, these comfortable pumps. So, they looked like regular heels, but, they were comfortable enough. They had these ladies playing basketball in them. It was crazy. So, of course, everything cycles, right? And apparently heeled sneakers are making a comeback. There was a run of that in the early 2000s, especially around the Manolo Blahnik, Tim era. We went kind of crazy with that, right? But of course, it in fashion, everything comes back around again, right? So these type of heels, these sneaker heels, they are making a comeback. Okay. And one of the people spearheading this is a woman by the name of Sarah Blakely. Okay, Sarah Blakely, you may not know her name, but you very much know one of her products called Spanx. Okay, she revolutionized the shapewear industry with Spanx, right? So Sarah Blakely, she's like, I did my big one with Spanx. Let's see if we can do it again. So she has come out with these, hybrid sneaker heels, sneaker stilettos, and she has been trying to get the name Sneaks trademarked. Sneaks as an SNEEX. I'm going to write it in the comments so you guys can see it. Okay. So the founder of Spanx, is trying to trademark the word sneaks for their shoes. However, the USPTO. No, I'm sorry. So they're trying to trademark the word sneaks for footwear, hats, and socks, right? So shoes, hats, and socks. So they filed their application, but the USPTO said, hey, girl, no, there's already a company out here that has the word sneak, SNEAK, all right, that already has that trademarked for footwear and apparel and things like that, right? So sneaks may not so sneaks, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board because you already have a product called Sneak in the footwear and apparel department. Is there room for sneaks in the footwear and apparel department? Because think about it, we got sneak and we got sneaks. When we hear them, even though we can't see them, they sound the same, right? So I'm interested to know what kind of research Sarah Blakely's team did in trying to choose the name, because as the founder of Spanx, you've had longevity in the game. You know what it takes to make your name stick. Now, while that is becoming more difficult in this day and age, because there are more people trying to secure brands, it is still your duty to do your due diligence and make sure that your mark, your word, whatever you're trying to protect as a trademark is not already out there being used in the marketplace. Okay. All right. But yeah, if you remember that Easy Spirit jingle, let your girl know, and don't let me be out here feeling old by myself. Okay. All right. For those of you who may have just popped in, you are watching Who's Getting Sued This Week. This is where we learn business and legal concepts using the faux pas of your favorite celebrities. And now we are on to our title story of the evening. So last week we talked about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We talked about Kim Kardashian being sued by a gentleman who was misidentified on her social media as a death row inmate. Okay. Again, Kim Kardashian by accident posted the picture of a man and claimed he was a death row inmate, but it was the wrong picture. And that man is currently trying to sue Kim Kardashian for, I think $10 million, because he says that he suffered emotional distress and, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Okay. So if that gentleman is trying to sue Kim Kardashian for a mistake, I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, Sexyy Red, whether you are a fan of hers or not, she is a big star. She has star power. She has a lot of followers. Apparently, she has, I want to say, she has 3.5 million followers on social media. Recently, she posted the picture and address of the home of her child's paternal grandmother. So her baby daddy's mom, Nana, grandma, G-ma, who probably watches the baby when you on tour. Or I don't know what's going on in Sexyy Red's life, so I'm not even gonna assume that that's happening. But whatever happened, Sexyy Red got very upset with her child's grandmother and posted the picture of her home and her address, and directed her fans or encouraged her fans to kick in the door and to be violent with her child's grandmother. All right. So this Sexyy Red's child's grandmother is now suing Sexyy Red for $5 million. She says she had to move somewhere else because, she was afraid for her safety. She is suing for damages, emotional distress, and harassment. When you are a big social media presence or some type of star, if you have some type of power, social media power, you need to be careful about what you're posting, because somebody with 130 followers, it might not be a big deal, but you who have millions of followers, you could incite someone to commit a crime, right? Because you have a lot of followers who like you. You're causing a threat to public safety. So Sexyy Red's child's grandmother is suing her for $5 million, as she should, because I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, there is a rapper from Chicago by the name of Chief Keef, who I had thought he was in jail. Apparently he ain't. He doxed some people, but he gave the wrong address. So the people and then people rolled up to this wrong address and were vandalizing the building. You, as a public person, if you're planning on building your brand and having a large following, you need to be careful about what you post. It's one thing when you're posting amongst your friends, stupid stuff, even though nobody should be doxing anybody. It is illegal to post people's personal information on the internet. Illegal. It's illegal to post people's personal information on the internet. So whether you have one follower or a million, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But as a person who has multi-million followers, you don't know who's not wrapped too tight. You don't know what might happen when you post this address and incite people to go kick in the door and do violence, right? What if somebody goes in and shoots Nana down? Right? So you have to be careful with how you use your social media if you are using it to promote your brand, your, whatever. I mean, in general, you should be careful, but especially if you out here trying to make a coin from the internet, which is how Sexyy Red started. All right. But yeah, good luck to everyone involved with that. Okay. Now, speaking of, star power, we're going to talk about someone else and how, how your reputation matters. So, Super Bowl's coming up again. I don't know why football keep coming up. Lord knows I don't care about it, but whatever. Of course, recently we had the Super Bowl where the Chiefs played, and did the Chiefs? No, the Chiefs did not win. The Eagles won, right? Okay. So, now even though the Chiefs didn't win, there's a lot of attention. There's a lot of attention that comes to the teams that play in the Super Bowl. So, you might have, so while you might not be the star player on a team, you might get, you know, a sponsorship from somewhere, right? You can still, you know, generate sponsorship money even if you're not the top player on the team. So, but things have to go right, right? So there's a player on the Kansas City Chiefs. His name is Xavier Worthy. This young man is 21 years old. He was recently engaged to a young lady by the name of Tia Jones. She is apparently a track and field star. She is 24. Recently, Tia Jones had him arrested and accused him of assault, right? And Mr. Worthy, he was arrested, but he was released pretty much immediately after because there was no evidence that what she said was true. As a matter of fact, Xavier said that his ex-fiance, that she assaulted him and destroyed about $150,000 worth of property. So now he is suing her, and he wants anywhere between $250,000 and $1 million. Now think about this. Xavier Worthy is a player on one of the two teams that made it to the Super Bowl. What if because of this arrest he lost a brand deal, right? Or some type of endorsement because his ex-fiance, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. What if, you know, he lost some type of brand deal because of his ex-fiance's false report that he had assaulted her, right? So now if he can prove, now we don't know if he lost any deals, but if he can show that because of this arrest that it tarnished his image in the view of the people who are running him a coin, and she cost him that money, hey Michelle Madison, you know, he might be able to get a you know, get some money from her. Tim McKendy, this is not what we're here for, and if you continue to put comments like that, I will block you. Okay, all right. Hi Michelle Madison. Okay. All right. So, yes. So, Xavier Worthy, he's suing his ex-fiance for anywhere between $250K to $1 million because she had him arrested and said that he beat her up when apparently he didn't. You can cost a celebrity or somebody like that a lot of money because a lot of your brand deals have morality clauses. You know, so if you're out here getting arrested for different things, and if you did do them, you could lose your brand deal. But it's even worse if you get arrested for something you didn't do and then you still lose a brand deal, right? So we wish him, you know, all the best. Okay, and stop screen. Yes. For those of you who just popped in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are about halfway through the show. Let's get to our next story. Do we have any Lady Gaga fans in the house? Okay. I remember when Lady Gaga first came out, and you know, she was, listen, Lil Mama can make a tune, okay? A tune. Poker face. But you know, Lady Gaga, she's very talented. She's done several genres of music, but now she's come back around to her original kind of dark pop roots, right? And her new album is called Mayhem. Okay. Now, currently Lady Gaga is being sued by a surf shop located in California because they are saying that Lady Gaga's Mayhem logo. Hold on, I want to. Hold on. Lady Gaga Mayhem versus Surf Shop. I want to show you. I don't know why I didn't download this first. Okay. What I want to do, see if I can get this for you. Okay. Anyway, that's anyway. So if you look at the Lady Gaga, I don't know if can I hide myself? Stop my mic. No, I just want to stop the camera. Stop the camera. All right. So I don't know if you can see this here, the Mayhem, where it says Mayhem in the pictures, right? But Lady Gaga, her new album, actually here, there you can see it. Her new album is called Mayhem, and the design is eerily similar to the design of a California surf shop. Now think about this. Now we know that Lady Gaga does music, of course, but whenever nowadays, when an artist is out, what do you call it? When they're out touring, they're not just giving you music, they're selling you merch. Wait, why is this? Okay, let me put, whose picture is this? Okay, sorry y'all. I use I have a shared StreamYard account. So I if a weird picture showed up, don't mind it, okay? So the surf shop says that Lady Gaga copied their logo. And when you look at it, they do look very close to each other in how the wording is done, how it's designed. And like I said, if you look at it, if you Google Lady Gaga Mayhem versus Surf Shop Mayhem, you're gonna see the pictures that they posted. Actually, here. Okay, I know what I can do. Because I still have it in here. Yeah, okay. Drive, upload. All right, be patient with me. I'm going to give y'all the real tea. But hold on. No, not here. Bear with me, guys. There's always technical difficulties when you're in this internet game, right? Okay, is this it? 7:32. Hello. All right, here we go. I'm downloading it. Be patient with me. Greatness takes time. Okay. Here we go. Now, let me get back to y'all and we will pop in this image. Present, share screen, window here. So, Lady Gaga is on the left and the surf shop's logo is on the right. So we can look at them and see that there is definitely some similarities, but some people might think, well, you guys are a surf shop, she's doing music. But the surf shops, they sell clothes and they have their trademark secured for, apparel. And again, and when these artists are going on tour, they are selling merch, with these tour names on them. So Lady Gaga may face some issues trying to, preserve this trademark for her tour. She may have to drop the trademark when it comes to the apparel that she's selling for the tour. Now, that doesn't mean that she can't sell the clothes. She can have Mayhem on the front, right? But she's not going to be able, when you trademark something for apparel, for clothing, you're basically saying, I'm starting a clothing line. She's not going to be able to say, I have a Mayhem clothing line. She can say, I have Lady Gaga t-shirts that have Mayhem on them. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But yes, I do foresee that there could be some trouble between Lady Gaga and this surf shop if she is trying to push to get Mayhem secured for apparel. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Lady Gaga needs to change the design of this Mayhem? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Okay. All right. We're almost done, guys. We have a few more stories. Actually, just all right. We're gonna do this one. Let me find it for you. Does anybody here watch White Lotus? Does anybody here watch White Lotus? I do not watch it, but I've heard good things about it. It's on HBO Max. And recently there was a scene on there that was very disturbing. It depicted a gentleman attempting to unalive himself on screen, right? Part of the scene, I'm going to show you a still of that scene. So I guess trigger warning or whatever they say. But here we go. So this is the scene, the last scene from White Lotus. This scene is causing a lot of kerfuffle with Duke University. Apparently, Duke University apparel shows up all and through White Lotus, and Duke University has had enough. They have filed a lawsuit against the producers of White Lotus. They're saying that, you know, you're using our branded merch without our permission. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys watched Insecure, but I think in the second to last or last season of Insecure, there was an episode where one of the characters, who's played by Amanda Seales, was wearing AKA merch, Alpha Kappa Alpha, the sorority merch, and people were up in arms about that. Understand this. It's not illegal to use, you know, they're not posting it to sell it, right? So when these shows have this paraphernalia from the schools, they're not saying, you know, here's where you can purchase it, right? It's just part of the set. It's part of the wardrobe. And usually it's protected by the First Amendment. However, the schools, of course, they have issues with depictions of attempted suicide while wearing a prestigious university's merchandise. So while we understand why Duke University might be up in arms over the use of their paraphernalia in the show, there's nothing they can really do about it because the show is not they're not talking about Duke University. They're not filming at Duke University. The show has nothing to do with Duke University except that I guess people may have the characters may have attended there. Okay, but let me know, what do you guys think? Does Duke University have a right to complain about their paraphernalia being used in a TV show in a way that they don't like? Should they be able to have a say over how their academic merchandise, even though it's not being sold, should they have a say in how it's being used? Let me know what your thoughts are on that, okay? All right, so let's remove that. Okay. Now, I've never seen this chain. Apparently, it's very popular in the Midwest, but if you have ever heard of Buc-ee's, please give me a B in the comments, okay? So Buc-ee's is a convenience store chain. in the Midwest and South, including the state of Missouri, right? You stop at a convenience store when you're traveling. You can get snacks or sandwiches and things like that, right? In the state of Missouri, there is a dog park and retail owner that has named their establishment not Buc-ee's, but Barky's, BARC-EE'. And as you can see, Buc-ee's, crap doodles. As you can see, Buc-ee's is spelled BUC-EE'. The dog park is spelled BARC-EE', right? And not only is it a dog park, they also sell things. They sell food, drinks, they sell convenience items like drinking tumblers. They have a drive-through dog wash, and they even have an electric vehicle charging station. So they're doing more than taking care of dogs. They're selling retail items. And Buc-ee's, the convenience store chain, is mad about it. So they are filing a trademark against Barky's, saying that, this is trademark infringement and you're causing dilution and confusion. You would think that Barky's might be like, nah, dude, whatever, this is ours. We made it up. The owner of Barky's is actually happy that he's being sued. He's like, obviously, we're doing right. The right thing. We're getting people's attention. And he's like, this is just the game in entrepreneurship. Buc-ee's just got to step their game up, right? But I want to know from you, do you think that Barky's, a dog park that also has a retail component that sells convenience items, is there room for them along with Buc-ee's? Is there room for Buc-ee's and Barky's in the convenience store space? I'm a 7-Eleven girl myself. All right. Okay. Yes. So those were the stories that I wanted to share with all of you tonight. Whether you're watching live or you are watching the replay, please answer the questions. I love to read your comments during and after the show. If you missed a particular story, don't worry. I will be splitting these up in the next during the week so that you can watch the individual stories. If you have anything that you would like me to talk about on the show, please send it to me. You can DM me. You can email NPL Consulting Firm on IG. You can email me and plconsultingfirm@gmail.com. And as well, if you're trying to start your business journey and you're looking for some legal help, I am a licensed attorney. This is what I do in real life. So book your free 15-minute consultation using that link scrolling at the bottom. Okay. So this is where I leave you guys. Have a wonderful week and take care of yourselves. Bye.